I think also some of these young people, they see the big money and the need to contribute to the community doesn't occur to them. I say that because if people really had that spirit, I would expect that I could go to work and find anonymous donations of thousands of dollars in cash to help support our services. And AODP could find the same. Never happened. Never happened. I've never seen it happen. I'd love to see it happen. So if any of you are in the business and choose to do that, feel free to do it. I also agree with Ralph that the worst thing you can do with young people is be a hypocrite and not give them accurate information. You don't get anywhere with that. And so if you somehow, if youth are observing adults who are saying, hey, this is all about medical use, and yet they're clearly growing way in excess of most people's thoughts about what appropriate medical use is, they're going to see that hypocrisy. The other hand, if they also see people, adults saying to them, you know, anybody who smokes or uses or grows is a loser, they're also going to see that hypocrisy because they know tons of people who smoke or use or grow who aren't losers, who are successful, and many people who are able to use recreationally and not get in trouble. So I just think it's important to have an honest dialogue about that. And I'm also glad that Meredith mentioned the issue about youth traveling outside the county and realizing the rest of the world may not be like Mendocino County and getting in trouble. I also want to talk a little bit about career options and life choices. One of the things that teachers and my workers say a lot is they have young people say, why should I bother to finish high school? I can make $25 an hour trimming bud. And we know that $25 an hour in our county is a good salary. So that's a challenge. And while I do believe there may be some medical justification for young people with attention deficit disorder based on what I've heard so far, that it may help their memory and their concentration. I think for most young people, marijuana, my generation, was certainly not known for its ability to help you remember things. And I don't believe that the current high-potency marijuana probably is different with that. So what happens? Your memory is so how do you get an education if you smoke a joint before going to school, during your lunch break, after school, before you go to bed, which is not uncommon from the stories that we hear from young people. How do you remember anything? Do you pass the exit exam? Even if you manage to get a diploma, if you want to go to college to learn something, and I'm certainly not saying everybody who smokes, can't be successful. I know plenty of people who are straight A students and done well professionally and smoked, and sometimes even smoked heavy, but I'm saying that for some people, they can't. So what happens though, if you look at us as a community and you think about the challenges of not getting an appropriate education either where you don't finish high school or you just finish but you're really not prepared to go on to any other kind of vocational training or college training. And then the other question around career and job work that I raise is, what if the profit motive was gone? What if something happened where it was either legalized or decriminalized in some way in which the big profit motive was gone? There, where would you be? Do you really think people are going to pay $25 an hour for you to trim bud if the big profit motives are gone? I think it's going to be more like what you get paid to go harvest grapes in the wine industry. So what do you do then if that's what you're counting on as your future career?
Dr. Wandry, are you close to wrapping up?
I am very close to wrapping up.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Wagonette. I also wanted to say that we do a variety of services, and I also want to thank the sheriff and the district attorney because some of the asset forfeiture money you heard Meredith talk about does go to help support some of the services that we do. So what are the current trends if they continue? These are the things I'm concerned about: an undereducated workforce with limited skills and a lack of commitment to contribute to the community. I think we're already seeing this, families not wanting to move here because they don't want to bring up their kids here because of our reputation. And youth, I've had young people say to me, I came back here from college, I started to work here, decided I didn't want to stay because everybody in my age, or most of the people I know, are involved in growing, and I don't want to do that. So young people that we really need in the county moving away because they don't want to be part of that culture. I also think one of the effects is that we're probably going to learn even more about how to work around marijuana abuse issues in the particular climate of a county with social norms that support the use of marijuana. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jill Temkin, and I supervise adolescent treatment programs for Mendocino County, and we have programs in a variety of schools in a variety of areas in the county. And so I'm going to talk about what we see in the treatment programs and the intervention programs that we do. That's where my information comes from. And you've heard a lot of information already tonight, statistics, and people have talked a lot about the impact on the community and a lot about the loss of opportunities, the loss, if young people get caught and arrested, the loss of freedom, loss of choices. So rather than me sitting here giving you more statistics, what I'd like to do is show you something it's a digital story that in our summer program a youth did in his own words with his own images to just describe his experience where he starts out using marijuana, and in this particular case he moves into using a lot of other drugs. And it is not the case that every single person that uses marijuana uses other drugs. However, I'd say 95% of the kids we see that do use other drugs started with marijuana. Pardon me? Yes. So hopefully this will work. So I think that story illustrates what everybody's been talking about tonight. I mean, it's just sort of one of those things where he